We're going to talk about growing your LinkedIn connections, and it's just what it sounds like. Why do you want to do that? Why would you want to grow your network? Well, I have one friend who's been a VP for I don't know, a lot of years at a big company, big, and he decided that he wanted to try something else. And I said, well, how many LinkedIn connections do you have? And he said, I don't know if I've ever even really been on LinkedIn. And it sort of shocks me because it's I would say it's kind of like Facebook for business. So even if you're not looking for a job or looking for employees or maybe looking for business information, it's still a great place that I think is much more, I would say, serious content. I do go on Facebook and I have even used it for live webinars, but most of the stuff on Facebook is, feel good stuff, or I'm on this trip and here's my pictures, or my kid just got married, or whatever it is. And LinkedIn isn't like that at all. LinkedIn is like the business section of the Wall Street Journal, or whatever, or maybe just the Wall Street Journal compared to USA Today. So I would encourage you to be more active on it. I will tell you my story in a few minutes, but a lot of people use it to find clients. I got real serious about social media in 2012, and I ended up doing about 30 videos on YouTube. And then one of the videos, I promoted the videos through LinkedIn, and one of the videos got watched by some marketing people out east, and I got a $140,000 client out of it. It wasn't all LinkedIn, but it was part of it. Part of it was keeping in touch with my network. So, I think having a big list there's some real advantages to it. But you can, if you are marketing a service, you can launch it with a large network. If you just want to write articles and push the needle ahead in the history of the world, you'll get more views if you have a bigger network. And the interesting thing is that the rich get richer. So this morning I get to work, and I had yesterday I had an invitation to connect with a guy in New Zealand, and he owned a company out there, and I've always wanted to go to New Zealand, and so I thought, okay, well, sure. But I always write and say, and how did you find me? Most people don't write back. I encourage you to connect with a network. What's the point of doing the connections unless you're going to write back and forth a little bit? But most people don't, and that's okay. But I send that message to everybody, and in the course I actually tell you how to do that, a really simple way to do it. So this morning I get another one from, I think it was from New Zealand, and then there was another one from somewhere kind of similar, like Australia. And I wrote to them and said, how did you? And they said, well, the guy from New Zealand. So, and what's going to be funny is, I'll bet you within the next week or so, someone from the United States will connect with me because of the guy from New Zealand, because it loops around like that. But that's not the way to, that will not get you a huge LinkedIn list. That kind of level of activity. That's what I did for a long time. So we're going to talk about doing a little more. So what's the best way? Why am I talking about LinkedIn? Well, the truth is I've tried a lot. And in 2012, I think I lost a big client, and so I decided that I think it was a musician's friend or something. So I decided to get serious, more serious about social media, and I revamped my websites and made them mobile friendly, and which they are to a limited extent. And I tried to do lead generation media and a lot of posting. I got serious about Twitter. Put a lot of news stuff, motivational stuff up on Twitter, and I got to 4,000 connections. I have more connections than all my kids put together. So they don't care about Twitter; they're more Snapchat. I think that's what they are: Instagram and Snapchat. But anyway, I spent a lot of time in the past couple of years figuring out pop-ups, so that I could offer a like an article. I think the one I'm offering now on issm.org, I think it has a pop up. I think if you hit about us, it has a pop up, and I think WDMA also does. And I offer on ISSM, I offer 5 tips to database success or something like that. Anyway, so I don't think I got one email from that. You know, probably because I give away too much for free. I enjoy writing articles and I enjoy making videos and uh, you know, so you can find out about a lot about how to build a database just from my old YouTube stuff. So um, so I've I've come full circle back to LinkedIn. I started on LinkedIn in 2003. I was one of the very early adopters of LinkedIn, and so that's why I'm here today. I'm here today because I recommitted to it last fall. I went to a course in San Francisco from some guys in Australia about how to be a thought leader, and those guys use LinkedIn a lot. So I decided to revisit it, and so that's what happened. Okay, so I've been using LinkedIn since 2003, but at the time, nobody was on it. I mean, like nobody. So uh, you'd try to connect with people, and they just weren't on it. Nobody knew about it. And I think I had one connection in 2001 or 2003. I had another connection in 2004. I think I put up like 4 or 5 in 2005. By 2008, I had 49, and mostly it was just you go to a conference or something, and it would come up, and somebody'd say, "Well, yeah, I'm on there." "Oh, you are? Okay, so let's connect." And so we did. So 49, my one of my friends became VP of marketing for LinkedIn along there somewhere, and so uh, he said 50 connections is the average. Now my connections tend to be have more than I do, thousands. And so if you have more than 4 or 5 thousand, then great, you know, uh, more power to you. But I think you can still leverage that, and I think you can still have better connections. And I'm looking forward to the day when either LinkedIn expands their $30,000 limit, or I start weeding out lots of connections. I don't hardly ever unconnect with anyone, although there is a way to do it, and I have done it in very limited cases for really, you know, some good reasons. Um, but one of the things I did along the way was I took a class from Wayne Breitbarth, and he's really local in my area, and he's one of the top LinkedIn experts of how to do these things. So I highly recommend his stuff. He's got a book that he revises regularly. He's got some videos and webinars, and he does a lot of it for free. So you know, and I stumbled into one of his courses because I was speaking at a conference and he was speaking at a conference, and it was really good. So then I signed up for his course, which was it was only a couple hours, maybe 2 3 hours, and it was about $200, I think. And then I went to a refresher. So I've been to 3 of his sessions, and I occasionally watch him on live, and we actually write back and forth because sometimes I uncover something, and sometimes he's interested, so he writes back and forth. But one of the things I learned from Wayne was I learned that you could export your list, your first level connections, and if you haven't learned that, if you don't know that, then it's worth right now. It's worth watching this webinar because it's it's not that hard to use. I wish they give me zip code or postal code for the internationals. They don't. But anyway, what I do export it, and so I would regularly export, and that's how I got that $150,000 client was one of my peculiar emails that I send out. I try to make them entertaining and informative. Um, but he taught me how to email from to export my contact list, to pull out their emails, and to send them stuff. But when you do that, in order to be legal in the CAN-SPAM Act, you have to put your. I got a complaint. I think this is one of the guys I blocked. I got a complaint from a guy that I was violating that act, and it turned out the only violation I could find was that I didn't put my street address on it. Now, that's so that if someone got your email and doesn't like email significantly, they can mail you a letter telling you to stop emailing them. I would love to hear from any of you out there who's gotten a letter that said that. But for whatever reason, you're required to put your street address, and so I now do. And but I also have an unsubscribe button, which is kind of the way things are, and you should do it that way. And so I just did one to promote this class, and I got about 10, maybe 10 unsubscribes. Maybe it was more. It was 14 or something. But I mean, it wasn't a lot, considering I sent out like 3,500 emails. It wasn't a lot. But every time I did it, I got a few. And when I wasn't growing very fast, I was kind of depressed about it. I thought, well, I can't do emails if I'm not replenishing my emails, and I wasn't able to replenish them by my pop-ups on my websites. And I don't care if people go to my website to be honest about it. There's a lot of stuff there, a lot of good stuff, but it's not that promotional. It's mainly my client list and some things like that. So it's always been kind of like that. It's not really a promotional list, but I needed to grow. So because I was getting enough unsubscribes and enough people's lists emails didn't go through, that my unsubscribe list was growing. I think it's still only 180 or something after 6 years of doing this. So it's not like people don't appreciate. And I get lots of nice emails back saying we love your crazy emails. But I needed to grow, and so this past fall, I really got put a concerted effort in. Here's a picture of the emails per month that I put together. You see, there's nothing here in 2011. Now, I actually, and if I can get this to work, I actually put up. No, I'm in the wrong window. There is a window. Here it is. Okay, I put up in the latest one of my recent articles, and it was an article about this class. I put up this chart, which is the best one so far. This is my fourth one, I think. But you can see there's like one, and it's nothing. Okay, and I got to 2012, and I put in about maybe I was up to 100 to 150, and I have the numbers so I could look it up, but I put in about 500 in 2012 with Wayne's help, and I've had pretty steady growth. But if you go back to that other graph, you can see that even with all of that, I peaked here in actual connections per month, and it's still only 40 maybe a month. It's like one a day, and it went down 2015 because I went toward Twitter and kind of ignored it. So 2017, I was still not up to the level I'd been at 2012, and then what happened was, I don't know. I sort of stumbled on this thing, and it's been just really growing like crazy ever since. You can see there's no comparison to what I'd ever done, and that's what the class is about. It's explicitly about how to do that and how I did it. So, what do we talk about in the class? Well, there's this is kind of the first lesson. I use the same slides, so you can just mark that completed. This is almost as long as the class, the pitch for the class. But anyway, so then there's 15 years. It took me 15 years, and I got 1,500 connections. Is where I was at, and I was just dazzling. I by the end of 2017, I did get to, about, I put up about 200 right then, but I was middle of 2017, I was about 1,500 connections. I don't want to get fact checked here. I knew you had 1,700 in 2017. Yes, I did. I got to that at the end. But in October, it wasn't very good. Been most of the year. So, uh, the class talks about that, and I got tremendous help in getting this course to actually work, to take credit cards and stuff. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff on the internet that just will make you crazy. And I signed up for MemberPress for my WordPress site, and I signed up for LearnDash for building courses. And I could not get the two of them to talk to each other. It turns out there's a little add-on you have to download. It's free. You just have to do it. And somehow I didn't get it. And this lady from Iowa helped me. Just really helped me a lot. We were making videos of each other's websites so that I could show her what my settings were and screen captures, and she'd show me. So she helped me. So I invited her to take the course since she'd been so helpful. And she said, no, I just use organic connections. Okay, well, that's what you get. Two things you get from organic. Organic means, people just happen on me and I say yes. One is you get, in the normal course of things, you get a lot of people from overseas that are just trying to pitch stuff. Okay? When someone connects with you, they get to see your connections. They become, all of your first level connections become second level connections to them. I don't know if you knew that. That's another thing that you might have learned here. Okay, so the first thing you've learned is you can export your connections. The second is that your network and your friends are guarded by you. And if you connect to everybody, whoever sends you a connection notice, then you are giving your connections to spammers. Sometimes they're legitimate people. But when I get invitations from countries I've never been to and probably haven't much interest in going to, and I'm not going to call out countries that I have no interest in going to. But I've been to Italy a couple times. I'm not that keen on going back there again. I would like to go to Belize or to South America or a lot of places. I spent 3 weeks in Italy, so it's pretty high on my list, but not now. And so, it just doesn't matter. But you should screen those because they will have access then to your connections and can send direct connect invitations to them. Okay, so first you can export. Second, you're the guardian of the connections. And so organic gets you what it gets you. It gets you your friends' friends. That's who LinkedIn sends you to their friends' friends, to their second level connections. But you might also know, or you maybe you should connect with. And so you tend to get the level of connections that you already have, which is another thing that the class talks about. That you may want to be more proactive than that. I would say that would be an easy way to say it. Okay, because now, like this morning, one was a CEO, one was a CFO, and one was a business owner, just out of the blue over the transom. Okay, so in the course we have training videos, and it says lots of, but it's I think 5, and but there's a lot of examples. There's examples of invitations. There's examples of what to do on a profile, how to improve your profile. There's tons of books on how to improve your LinkedIn profile. And there's probably tons of videos on YouTube all over the place. So I didn't really focus on that because that's the obvious thing that everybody kind of does focus on. I focused on how I actually got, having a good profile for umpteen years. I focused on how then to get that to work for you, how to leverage a good profile, assuming you have one. And, and I say in there, if you haven't written an article ever, you should write one. It's not that hard. Just think about the stuff you read and think about what you'd have to say to the author if you sat down with them for coffee. Questions you might ask them, other perspectives that you might offer that he doesn't have, because we all have our own perspective and we're limited in that. So, it's not that hard. And there's a lot of books on how to write a business article. So I also have follow-up messages. I write back to everyone when I look at my message folder. I won't do it here, but when I look at it, it says you. That means I replied to everybody. There's almost never does somebody write me and I don't reply to them. At least send them a thumbs up or something, just to let them know that I got it. Most people don't follow that principle. I think that's a good principle. Leave the ball in their court. Say hello. Say thanks. Say sorry. But say something. If you're going to have a network, let's interact with a network. That's basically what I've got to say. So, okay. So, action and implementation, and I have some things about how to leverage that. And obviously, this is an example of trying to leverage my LinkedIn connections. But I got a lot of feedback on this course so far, even if you didn't attend my course yet. Okay, so let's go back over here. Because I moved something, and then all of it falls apart. Okay, so the class is about how to grow. It's not about how to write your profile, but there's some tips on it that my friend the VP said it demystified LinkedIn for him. What I've really tried to do is boil it down. Boil it down. And so you don't have to read, a 17-hour book. I read Thinking Fast and Slow. Yeah, it was, 20 hours or something. It's very complicated. You don't have to do that. This simplifies it. It's great. So it's worthwhile because of its simplicity, the course. So don't feel bad that it doesn't tell you more. Write me. Well, maybe we'll make a follow-up course. Anyway, one of the key things, I think, is that you don't have to get premium to get this to work. Now, I did get premium because I didn't know any better. And you can get a 30-day trial. So that's how I got started. I said, okay, I'm going to invite some people to connect with me, and I'm going to, and LinkedIn stopped me, said, you've sent out too many invitations. I don't think they do that anymore. It was just it was like a temporary thing. So, but they limited the number of searches. There's a way to get around that. There's a couple of ways, which I talk about in the course. But they limited it, so I said, okay, well, I'll take the 30-day trial. Well, the nice thing about taking the 30-day trial was that it forced me to do something in 30 days. So I encourage you to do it because it'll get you off the dime. And that's how this whole thing happened, is I went, whoa, this worked way better than I expected. And I didn't really do much anyway. I did a little bit at the beginning of the 30 days, and I did a little bit at the end. And it just worked beyond my imagination or my expectations. So anyway, this course is based on not having the premium. I have a friend who has now almost 20,000 connections, so he's really popular. He posts all the time on LinkedIn. And he one of his people showed me just the other day a tool that they use that's $100 a month, and premium is $50 a month. And the nice part is it takes it and puts it in your CRM. So if you're doing sales work, you may want to find out from me what the name of that is, and I have it written down, but I'm not going to share it today. I don't. In YouTube, you have to put a disclaimer in if you get if you have featured products. Like here, my kids just gave me this coffee mug. Of course, I talk to myself. Sometimes I need expert advice. So this is pure expert advice today. Here I am talking to my screen. Anyway, so the course is about how to get more first-level contacts. The cool part is that for every one first-level contact you get about 10 second-level contacts, just on average, seems like. Probably even more than that. Now I'm up to like 6 million. I haven't checked lately because it's so many. It's ridiculous. What does that get you? Well, one of the things that gets you, and people lose sight of this, is if you have a company that you ran across, like at a trade show or something, and you can't remember who you talked to. This happens to me more and more these days. I can just go on LinkedIn and find. This happened to me yesterday. Somebody mentioned a company. I typed it into LinkedIn. a bunch of employees came up. Right at the top of the list was the guy that they had mentioned. I only remembered his last name. Bang! I get into everywhere now because once you get to a couple of thousand on LinkedIn, it's magical. All the doors open. So if you're not there, you need to do this. Okay? You need to pop for the $150 and do it. Okay? That's really, it's like, come on here. What'd you pay for college? 80 grand. This is better. Okay, so it increases your credibility. You get more exposure to your posts, more views of your articles, and we're going to work on it together. I welcome you to write me back and let me know what's going on. John at issm.org, John at wdma.org if you know me from there, John at migmar.com. I have really complex, hard to find emails. If you can spell my last name, man, you can find me. So connect with me. If you have no connections, connect with me and you'll have instantly 3,000 second level connections. And if you sign up for the course, I guarantee you that. Okay, so the course is $149 for 90-day access. The reason I have 90-day access, the reason I limit it is because LinkedIn changes stuff a lot. So 4 days ago, I was trying to find that email export, and I couldn't find it. I looked all over the place. I knew it was there. Someday they'll probably shut it down unless you have premium. It doesn't surprise me that it would never surprise me that they would do that. But and even with premium, they don't give you a zip code, which I think is just terrible. But whatever, they move stuff. And they change stuff. It used to be you could look at groups and you could get every group and how many were in the group. And they changed that a bit. And I touch on that because joining groups is another great power in LinkedIn. And I'm on a marketing group that has 289,000 people in it. And that, it certainly increases your third level connections. I think it even impacts your second level connections. Okay. So I'm also going to talk to you about how to start with a regional perspective and how that really helps. That's one of the main things that I learned when I was working on growing my connections was the region that the greater reality you have, the physical reality, that you're a real person, that you have a real address, and that you go to places, the better your connection rate. So that's, I guess, number 4. Anyway, so it's $149. ISSM.org is a coupon that will give you 20% off. It expires tomorrow. So it's on for today, expires for tomorrow. So you save $30. So it's only $120, 119 something or other today. Don't let it expire. And the code is ISSM.1806. So, and I'll show you in a second how to connect with it, or how to find the sign up. Also, as part of the class, and it's in the class, and I'll make double sure that it's in there. You can, when you get to the end, you can schedule a call with me to apply this to your current situation. So I get sometimes way more than $1,000 an hour. So this course is worth more than the 15-minute. The 15-minute call is worth more than the cost of the course. Plus, you'll have something intelligent to say because you'll have watched the course. So I'm really committed to helping out. And I encourage you to go through the course, watch the videos, and then set an appointment and we'll talk, which I think is a heck of a deal. Anyway, so that's the end of the course. Now let's go over here, and if you're on the live, if you're on the YouTube channel, okay, so you can do it when you get off. On the YouTube channel, in this nice purple banner, there's a button, and the button takes you to ISSM.org, or you can just key in ISSM.org, okay? So you go over here to ISSM, and you see this course. This is the latest article I just put up. I put up the LinkedIn article. Excuse me. And this will also take you to the sign up right there, bottom of the article. It's also, I think, on the LinkedIn article. So if you search for my articles, you'll see this. It's the second one because I got inspired yesterday and wrote another article. Or you can go to issm.org and you can click on courses, and there it is, LinkedIn Grow Your Connections. Okay? So if you go there and click that, it'll take you to a description of the course, and it says become a member of ISSM, and that's included as part of the course. Okay? So if you try and click on this, nothing will happen. It'll just bring you back to where you are. But if you go here, it'll bring up an order form. Okay, so here it is. Here's an order form. And if you try and pay without joining ISSM and putting your registration in, it will be mad at you. This was what the lady in Iowa helped me with. It's wonderful. Oh, it does let you pay. No, it's not supposed to let you pay. It's supposed to be all red. Well, it may be. Oh, it's because I'm linked. It's because I'm logged in. See, I'm logged in. Sorry. I'll log out so it looks like I'm one of you, unwashed masses. Okay, so we'll go back here. Go back here. It's really painfully easy. It's wonderful that it actually works these days. Okay, so now we go in here, become a member, and if you go and try to pay, oh, the red comes out because these are required fields. Okay, so let's make a JRRFM user, and I'll be JR at e-rfm.com, which is another one of my identities. And we'll make a password, and we'll make the coupon code. What was that coupon code? Do you remember? ISSM 1806. 1806 for June of 2018. Not hard to remember. Now, when we bring it up, we did fill all the rest of this in. I encourage you to fill it in just so we know who you are. There's no reason otherwise. But you don't have to. We're just saving you time here. And up it comes, and there you see the great discount, $30 and $119 for this great deal. And so if you do what I did and close a window, if you key it wrong, because I watched somebody key it, my VP friend, if you key it wrong and you key in something that doesn't make any sense, oops, get some numbers up here. Okay, it will not give you the zip code, and it will not, and it'll just keep doing that, and it won't like you, and it will be in red. But if you get your credit card right, then, and all this right, because it knows, then the zip code will pop up, and it'll ask you for the zip code, and then it'll all work, and you'll pay me, and you'll have instant access to the course. And then, after you watch the first video, there's a little button that says Mark Complete. If you don't hit that button, it won't let you to the next one. Because I force you to take the class in order, as you should anyway. But anyway, that's how you get to the second class. Once you complete the first video, complete the second, then you can go back to any videos in any order you want. But you have to at least sequence through it. Okay? So that's it. And I see Keith on here. He says, this was way better than yesterday. Yes, yesterday was a complete total disaster. Let's sum up. Let's go back to my summary here. Summing up. What's this about? What this is about is it's about growing your connections, about how to connect. You know, another thing I learned from Wayne is Wayne. It's in the course. I think I held up his book or I put a link to his course and stuff. But he taught me a way to connect that's just way more powerful. And today, you know, these general connections I get, there isn't 1 in 100 probably, maybe 5 in 100 that do it, that do anything that's even reasonable. Explain to people why you want to connect. That's a powerful thing. I get about a 30 to 40% response rate in my connections. How about that? I'll show you how to connect fast, but I'll also show you how to make sure you get a good connection rate. And it's not something that LinkedIn tells you. Okay, I can tell you that. And it's a secret. You got to take the course. Okay, well, that's enough for now. We went 40 minutes or something, and no technical glitches. I can't even believe it. My best video ever. Don't encourage me, or I will do more. Have a great day, John Miglosh.